To the Monday, April 4th meeting of the Sykesville Planning Commission. We have a fairly short agenda tonight. We welcome public comment, but we ask that it be relevant to the agenda item being discussed and that it lasts for no longer than 3 minutes and be delivered from the lectern over here. And so first order of business is minutes. First of all, the minutes of the last regular meeting, which is March 7th, 2022. I hope everybody's had the chance to look at those minutes. Do we have any comments or revisions, issues with that? Can I have a motion then to approve those minutes?
Motion. I'll second.
So Ken, and all in favour? All right, good to go, Jenna?
Thank you.
Good. Second item on the agenda is the minutes of the special meeting, which we had 2 weeks ago on March 21st to discuss Warfield. Again, does anybody have any comments or corrections that they need to be made to that?
I've got one question. I noticed there were two versions of the minutes that came out, one with the package and one a day or two.
Correct. I wanted to make sure that everyone saw the revised minutes that came out the next day.
Got it.
So
Okay, thank
we're
you.
talking about the revised minutes that went out the next day, with which had an addendum to them.
Perfect, thank you.
And that's the ones that we're voting on. Anybody else got any comments to make? Issues with that? Motion?
Motion.
Ted? Seconded?
Second.
Okay, all in favour? Good.
Thank you.
Good. Moving on. So, county updates, I think, is the next order of business. Do we have... yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So just your normal updates. The comprehensive rezoning staff is working on the ag and conservation districts with the goal of having the text to the commissioners in early fall. For the transportation master plan, staff is still putting that plan together from the quarter study and then some surveys that we did and municipal input, and that should be in front of our planning commission this summer. For the annual report, I believe you all approved or certified your section. Before that is finalized and sent to MDP, we'll send it back to staff just to make sure everything is still good. And then the last update is the county hazard mitigation plan, which is drafted by our Office of Public Safety. This plan was started in 2019, and with emergency management and the COVID situation, it was put on hold, so it's back, and we're working on that again, and I believe staff will be reaching out for town input at some point into that plan. Do you guys have any questions?
I think not. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks.
Giving us that. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So moving on quickly to our business agenda tonight. The first, number 3 on the agenda is the site plan for 7556 Main Street, which has been submitted. I wonder if someone would like to explain a little bit about that.
I was going to go first.
Fred?
on that clear as mud map that we drew up. All right, so if you look at the...
Should we get him to the microphone?
Yeah, so I'm going to do that.
If you look up there to the... If you go back up again, I know you can't really tell, but that green, see the blue? The blue are the exits.
Yep.
And then the green, the dark green, is what's existing now as a bistro. And then if you fold up a little, or move up a little bit, that green right there is a bistro, that rectangle. And then the yellow at the very back of it was an apartment, a studio apartment. So this all came about is Keith wanted to go, opened it up with just a beer and wine, and then realized that too many people want to have a cocktail. He's doing fine dining. So to do beer and liquor, you need to have 51 seats. You can't get a liquor license unless you have the 51 seats. And you can't get the 51 seats unless you have a front and back entrance. Well, then we applied and did all this paperwork, and then the liquor board said, oh, we made a mistake. You already have your full liquor license. It's a moot point and we're not going to refute it. So now we already have the liquor license. Do we hand it back? No, you don't hand it back. You've already gotten it. It's already been approved. So now we're sitting here in this, what do we do? So if he keeps it, is this going to be an overflow because it's not really used, but you can be used for a private party? So I guess we're going to just continue to go ahead with it, even though now we don't seem like we need it. If that makes any sense.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
What is it? You don't need it, the extra
The
space
extra
or the
space.
door?
The door. Well, they go hand in hand. The only reason you need, it's not the extra space. The space doesn't mean anything. It's the door.
Okay.
So you got to have 2 doors, and we have 2 exit doors, but they're too close together. So you have to have a door in that angle in the back and a door in the front. So if you had 2 doors, you're allowed to have 51 people.
And the egress door, the rear door, the red one that we were looking at today, where does that lead to exactly?
The back door to the back parking lot.
No, the
he's
interior,
talking
the
about
red door, the red door.
The red door. It's in the green.
The red door.
The red door.
I thought we were looking at the red door today. Am I mistaken?
No, you're right.
Between the 2 rooms.
Yeah,
That
that's
has
it.
to come off too.
Yeah, that's, you mean the interior door, were you inside the restaurant?
Yes.
Okay, if you were inside, that's a door that just, they want to take it off.
Okay.
Because they don't want to have that thing swing in case of an emergency. So when we went up to talk to Tom Harris, do we need a building permit? Well, what are you doing? Well, we're taking the door off the hinges. No, you don't need a permit for that. And then he said, well, the fire marshal came back and said, we want to take that back door, this door here, use the same door, reverse it, so it swings out instead of in. But they are reversible, so it's just take it out, put it back in. And I don't think they're gonna inspect that. I mean, they can, but it's just take the door out, put the door back in. That's the only construction we're doing.
But, so there's really, other than the way the door swings, there's nothing exterior, this alteration.
And if I may, the whole reason it's here is just because, you know, anything in the business local zone that requires a permit from the county, based on our code, also requires planning commission approval. And, you know, based on our discussions with the applicant and looking at the plans and my discussions with the Carroll County commercial plan examiner, staff does recommend approval of the plan. We did want to note, though, that all the conditions in the county's plan review comment letter, we would wish to be met, but that letter was included in everyone's staff report this evening and deals mainly with the compliance of the fire code. And I think that's all.
Yeah, and that's all met. When we
Right.
built that in 2008 or 9, we had a horrible time with that building. So that building has windows that if it ever catches on fire, Sykesville ever catches on fire, run as fast as you can to that building. It's got a 2-hour burn between every single occupancy. It has windows at $1,800 a window that automatically shut if the temperature hits 165 degrees. It's the only buildings so far that is fire marshal. We had a brand new fire marshal. He went overboard. He said, I want to see those windows. It was a nightmare getting that thing built.
Welcome to Carroll County.
But it's a safe building, that's for sure.
Good. Any other questions or comments at this point? In which case, I move that we approve the proposed site plan for the expansion of 7556 Bistro dining space contingent on compliance with all the conditions in the county's plan review comment letter.
Thank you.
Second?
Ken? All in favour?
Thank you very much.
Unanimous?
Can I
Good to
make
go?
one quick comment?
Yeah, of course.
I see what you guys do, all volunteer and ladies, and I watch it on the Zoom every time. Thank you for being here for that whole field. I know that's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I as a citizen see it and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Beth. Really appreciate that comment. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
I was gonna say, can I say something? I did come to 7556 last week and it was delicious.
Oh yeah, definitely. I second that.
I'm trying to do the fine dining.
Really, I'm
Yeah.
pushing more for that.
Yeah, it was good.
Long
I'm
as
an
you-
only cook, so.
long as you keep Keith's chili on the menu, it's okay.
Yes, that is it too.
So moving on to number 4 on the agenda tonight, that's the petition for zoning text amendment Warfield. Could you just explain exactly where we are with that, Joseph?
What's
Everybody
happening?
understand?
Well, we were based on the discussions we had at the special session 2 weeks ago, we did expect to receive some information from the applicant last Wednesday so that we can include it in the packet for everybody. And of course, we did not hear anything from them. So today I did reach out just to see if they were planning on attending tonight to maybe at the very least continue with their presentation that they started on the 21st. But they said they're still working on things with some of the modifications that they were contemplating based on the conversation at the special session. And that they will send an update to me sometime in the next week. So
Very good.
it's back in the hands of the commission.
back
Whether
in
or
the
not
hands
you want
of
to
the
continue that conversation or take some alternative action.
My inclination tonight is to move ahead with a vote on the actual petition that we have in front of us. I just want to make sure that there's no procedural or legal reason why we shouldn't do that at this particular point.
There's nothing that's been brought to our attention that would prevent you from doing that.
In which case, then I think we need to move ahead and do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've had an odd feeling after the presentation, and it's kind of the way it ended, it was like, why are we, their thought was, why are we, they thought they were going to be negotiating with this group. And that kind of, really struck, I think, everybody here as, what? Like a little bit of an awkward situation. So I agree. I think it's a good idea to do that, so that's done with. But again, are we putting ourselves in a corner with anything that we decide? That's the one thing we.
Well, there wouldn't be anything that would prevent them from submitting an alternative proposition to change the zoning text.
And that alternative would follow the same process. It goes to council.
Correct.
The mayor and council, who then would decide at that point whether to follow through, approve or recommend it to the planning commission, as we have done this time, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
They
So-
were notified of the meeting this evening, yes?
They were.
That they were on the agenda?
Absolutely.
And they didn't file any request for a continuance or postponement or?
They did not.
No. So at this point, we're where we were at the end of the March 21st meeting, without any further input at all
Right.
from the applicants. And I just don't see any point in belaboring it. I think it's time we moved ahead. If anybody has any other comments they wish to make, I think now's the time for it to be made. In which case, I think we need to come up with a motion which fits. And I guess I'm going to make it.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'm going to make a motion that we recommend to town council to deny the proposed zoning text amendment. Plain and simple.
Do we need a reasoning behind that, Steve, or Joe, or is that just a...
It's always, in my opinion, it's always good to give some sort of reasoning behind why we believe it's too much of a change. I think in the last staff report, there might have been at least a few items that were included in there that you could potentially use as part of that reasoning. But again, if there's other reasons that the commission has, you can include those as well.
Shall we pull that motion back to?
Pull it back for a minute so that we can get the text together. I think that we need to include two things. One is that it does not, the application for a zoning text amendment before us does not conform with the vision and intent of our comprehensive plan. Neither does it conform or is it reconcilable with the language and purpose and vision of the planned employment campus, centre
PEC.
zoning, the PEC zoning. It simply doesn't. And I think we could leave it at that, and I'd be happy to go to the council meeting and explain any further or answer any questions. But if we leave it at that for the motion, Steve, could you reread that motion to us?
Yes, I'm going to make the motion that we, to the town council, we deny the proposed zoning text amendment because it does not conform or meet the vision or intent of the comprehensive plan, nor does it meet the specifics of PEC either.
Do I have a second for that motion? Ted?
Yep.
All in favour? Unanimous vote of those present. Okay, good. So, moving on from that, thankfully at this particular point.
It's kind of nice to have that.
I'd be only too happy to discuss further proposals as they come in because it's important that we do, but I think I'm kind of glad that we managed to move on from that. So we've got town updates and correspondence, Joe.
No real updates. I think we're still waiting on additional information regarding, I think that it was the old Kevin's Catering building. We're still waiting to get feedback either from the county or the applicant. I think it's the applicant on that one. We still haven't received any additional information on the old Dunright warehouse, so we're still, again, waiting for that residential proposal.
Okay.
And other than that, the town is looking, we are starting our budget cycle and getting ready to look at several capital projects potentially. And should those decide to move forward, we would be back before the Planning Commission to get feedback and input on all of those as well.
Did you know the date of the council meeting where the Warfield request is coming up?
Off the top of my head, I would say it would either be the 11th or the 28th of this
11th
month.
or the 28th.
Well, I'm sorry, 25th of this month.
25th. Okay, sounds good. Anything else that anyone needs to discuss, bring in? Nope. In which case, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favour? Good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming tonight, and that's the kind of meeting that I like to.
I think we should all
It's
go to
15
dinner.
minutes. I think I
We should all go to
said 20.
dinner.
It's a lot the way he runs
It's at least have
You're pretty good, you're pretty good.
a cocktail.